New Zealand PGA starts tomorrow at the Hills. And we're lucky tonight to have the chairman of the PGA, John Hart, here. You wear a few hats these days, mate, don't you?
Yeah, this is just a little sideline for me, Murray, yeah.
And the former Australian Open champion and the holder of the record at the Hills. What'd you shoot, Pete?
62, Murray.
62.
It was a great day.
So, 62 on the first 9 for me, mate. John, why Queenstown?
Oh, I think Queenstown is the golfing mecca of New Zealand. I think Queenstown is the jewel of New Zealand tourism. And the combination of those things attracted us to talk to Michael Hill, the New Zealand PGA, to talk to Michael Hill. We've got a shared vision for what we want to create. We want to create a great event in Queenstown at the Hills to promote the game of golf and to enhance the country. And that's why we've got the support of government as we have to particularly focus on tourism and business opportunities into Asia. So Queenstown was a no-brainer, really. I mean, it's a mecca and it's a beautiful place to play golf, and the Hills is as good as it gets. How good is it? Well, you obviously love it. 62. Is it a good course?
No, it's a great course, and it's a great environment. You know, as a golf professional, you either like the golf course or you like the town. With the Queenstown, you've got both. Great golf course in great condition. It's a beautiful place to play golf, but you've got other things to do in the evenings, you know, after golf. It's fantastic.
Interesting guy, Michael Hill. I've been fortunate enough to interview him a few times. He's quirky, he's different. What's he trying to achieve, Hardy?
Well, I think he wants to promote his golf course. He wants to promote Queenstown. And, you know, he wants to be part of an event which becomes an iconic event. And that's the aim here. We're not trying to create something that is short-term, it's long-term. And, you know, Michael's always been a visionary. He's always had big ideas. And he does things differently, and I think, I've got to say, it's been great working with him.
Will you be wearing a pair of pants like that yourself, will you?
No, that's not in my wardrobe.
It's not in your wardrobe? No. Chuck, I'm told by a number of people, and John Lister threw it out to me one time, he said, the best player in New Zealand is a 15-year-old girl. She's not a girl, she's a very mature young woman. Lydia Ko, how good is this kid? She's playing in this.
It'll be great. I'm going to go out there and watch her see if hit a few shots and that, but she's excellent. She doesn't hit any bad shots. I wish I could say that.
So the strength of her game, what is it? The short game?
No, I think she drives the ball perfect. She swings it well. Like I said, she doesn't hit any bad shots, so she's never in any trouble. And she'll only get better. As she gets stronger in the next 5 years, she'll be dynamite.
How does she fit into the competition?
Well, it's a real coup for us because we talked to her before Christmas because, you know, the Pro-Am concept means we can have amateurs playing with the pros.
Yes.
And she's, I mean, she is, in my view, one of the two most outstanding young sporting talents we've got in New Zealand. I suppose Nico Gill would be the other. And I think what she's achieved in winning a professional tournament at the age of 14, the youngest person in the history of golf, men and women, to win a professional tournament and to be the #1 amateur in the world. We are so fortunate to have her, and she's going to be one of our real draw cards through this tournament. I think the public will come out on the weekend to watch her play. I'm looking forward to seeing her play, and I know, as Peter says, a lot of the pros will, because she is a very special talent with incredible discipline, a great attitude to the game, and, yeah, she doesn't seem to do much wrong.
Well, the fascination here, though, Pete, is despite everything which John has said, which I agree with, I interviewed her on radio, and her response was, when I said, I'm going down to see you play, she said, oh, Murray, like this. And I said, are you excited? She said, excited? I've never been to Queenstown. And that's the type of thing which is going to come through, isn't it?
Yeah, well, she's a young girl, young lady, and, you know, she hasn't travelled a lot in New Zealand yet. So this Queenstown experience. I know her and her mother and Guy, her coach, are really looking forward to the next few days. And, you know, the lucky pro that draws her in the Pro-Am, I mean, you know, they're going to be a pretty powerful team over there.
They will be. And another guy I ran into up at Gulf Harbour the other day, I was talking about how I was going to the Masters, and this bloke looked at me and said, well, I won't be going. I said, why not? He said, I'll wait till I get there and earn my place to play in it. He's a bit different, Michael Hendry, but gee, he can play, can't he?
He's one of the best players in the country, if not the best. He's only just starting out. There's only really the last 3 years that he's really shot to prominence, but he's got a very, very strong game. Hits the ball a long way, which you'd need to these days. And I look forward to seeing him on the US Tour one day and picking up some big tournaments. But, you know, I think he's got a smart brain and he'll work his way through that, and I'm sure we'll see him at the Masters.
John, you've had a bit to do with him.
Yeah, a little bit. I really am impressed with Michael's attitude. You know, he's come into the game late, hasn't he? And he really, to win in Indonesia, he did 2 years ago, and he's really starting to establish himself. And I think the big challenge for Michael now is to decide where he goes. You know, is it to go to US, or is it European Tour, or is it Asia? He's got to make a call and really go for it, because I think he's one of the great talents that we've got in the game.
So what sort of a role does a tournament like this play for people like Michael Henry, Lydia Ko, and let's chuck another one in that I understand is playing, who's trying to re-establish his career, Phil Tautorangi?
Well, I think for Michael, it's a chance for him to play at home in New Zealand as such, and he can really work on his game and get another win, which will get his confidence up there and like John said, make a decision where he's going to play and shoot big. As far as Lydia is playing next week, it's not an individual event for her. She's playing in the Pro-Am format, but it's a good chance for her to play, you know, with other professionals. She might pick up some ideas to help her game in the future. Hope she does.
And what about your mate Phil?
And Phil, I think it's great to see him back playing, and he's had a couple of back operations, I believe, and like myself, and it's good to see him sort of coming back. But he's got a great game. He's won on the US Tour, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's still a young man. He's still got lots of time to get it right, but I look forward to seeing him play.
He's someone you've got a huge amount of time for, haven't you?
Yeah, I've known him for years.
Yeah.
I played rugby with his father, and then you know, been a friend of Phil's from those days on. And you know, I just think he's a great ambassador for the game. He's a lovely person, works hard, hasn't had all the breaks go his way with injuries. He's our ambassador for the tournament, and let me tell you, he's done a tremendous amount of work in helping us get this thing off the ground. So, you know, big tick, and I just hope he has a great few days and enjoys it.
So this could be won by anybody, but, you know, the hot tip is sitting beside us as long as the body holds together, because we saw him recently, and you may not have seen this shot. Now, people have got the expectations. You're not just going down there, you know, and making up the numbers, are you?
Absolutely not, no. I won the Order of Merit in Europe last year, and, you know, I'm feeling like I can really play now.
Look at this.
Yeah, this is a great shot. Look at it go back.
I need a few more of those, don't I?
Well, Hardy and I were looking around to see if we could find any of his or my shots doing that. And it usually goes off the driver, goes back that way. It must be good to have your game back going well again.
Yeah, well, I worked hard after back surgery and hip surgery to get myself in good shape. And last year I had most of the year I was very fit and strong, and I played well. I feel like I'm swinging it better than I've ever swung the club. So if I can roll those putts and hit a few wedge shots like you just seen, I hope to be up the top.
Great stuff. John, a quick explanation for the format.
Okay, it's a 4-round professional tournament on the Australasian Tour. The pros are playing for $500,000. There's a cut after 2 rounds, and then we've got down to 62 pros, and 62 amateurs will come in at that stage. An amateur will be put with a pro, and they play as a team on Saturday and Sunday. So, you know, Pete and I could end up together possibly as a team. You just don't know. We've got a seeding tournament at Jack's Point on the Friday for all the 62 amateurs and some invited guests, including, I might say, the Prime Minister, who's going to play in the tournament, and he's really getting into his golf. The Prime Minister's been a great supporter of the concept that we're growing, and, you know, I think the format really is, it's for the pros. Obviously, the big money is for their own tournament, the PGA Championship, but hopefully, you know, the Pro-Am concept is a thing that can grow, because if that does and the pros buy into it and the amateurs want to continue to play in it, then we can grow this to be a very, very big event far bigger than just playing on one course. You know, our vision is to play, have this tournament played over 3 rounds with amateurs and pros together from the start, on Millbrook, on Jacks Point and the Hills, and with a final round at the Hills. So, you know, this is the start of what I hope will be something really big for New Zealand golf and New Zealand in terms of a major event.
Now, people who are going to be there tomorrow, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, who are some of the personalities? Like, we know the golfers that are going to be there, but who are some of the other people, John?
Well, the golfers like Dean, you know, we've got obviously Brendan Jones and David Frost on the professional side with all the top Australasians. But we've got Don Cheadle, the Hollywood actor from Hotel Rwanda. He's out here. He'll be playing. We've got people like Lydia, Sir Bob Charles, Nick Farr-Jones is coming over from Australia to play, Justin Marshall, Jeff Wilson, Julie Coney, Mark Richardson, who had a very good coaching session with Pete just the other day. So, you know, those are the amongst the amateurs. And then we've got 50 others who have either paid to play or are playing as a result of part of a sponsorship. So, you know, I hope Mark controls his anger that he didn't control too well with you, and has a great day. But so this is an event, and you know, what we really need is people to turn out and come from all round Otago and Southland, Central Otago, to come to Queenstown over the next 4 days, particularly over the weekend, because they will have a great deal of fun, because there's a lot more happening than just the golf. There's a huge amount of activity for youngsters and people to enjoy.
When you shot that 62, I was broadcasting from there. I interviewed you straight afterwards. But with all due respect to you, mate, the guy that blew me away was Bob Charles. And you may think back to that tournament that was held at the Hills. On the final day, with about 2 hours to go, he was right in the reckoning, remember? Yep. Right in there, wasn't he?
Oh, no, it was a huge effort. He finished up, I think he finished 21st in the tournament. Yeah. At 72 years old at the time. That was a marvellous effort, you know, and I've watched him play on the seniors tour the last couple of years. You know, he doesn't play very much.
So he's going to be used with a presentation and things like that in this one?
He'll be wanting to make lots of birdies. He's a very proud and keen golfer, so he's looking forward to it.
Well, we're thrilled that you've got it up and going. It is really important that this thing works for New Zealand sport. Now, you're going to be able to see it on Sky, not live, but it is going to be shown on Sky Sport 1. Phil Leishman's company, Kelson Butler and those boys, they're going to be doing a 1-hour highlight package. And that particular hour that we're showing there comes immediately after the Masters. And then if you want to keep up with the play live during the day, I'll have my radio show there on News Talk ZB, Deaker on Sunday. We'll be there from 12 noon right through till 6 o'clock. And looking forward to it immensely. It should be a ripper of a show. Go well tomorrow, guys.
Thanks Murray.